I'm going to say something that Dolphins fans seemingly say every time Tua gets criticism, and that's, I think Tua got a little bit of unfair criticism last week. A lot of people blamed him for why things went poorly against San Francisco. I'm not saying he had nothing to do with it. I'm not saying this was his best game. It wasn't, clearly. But I think there were plenty of issues at play, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. First, let's talk about the good play, which was definitely, this made the stats look a lot better. And I think this is what Tua haters will point to, is like he had a decent play that got him a ton of yards, that he didn't do too much, and this is why, he actually wasn't very good, but his numbers look better. And there's some truth to that. You're going to run a play action. You have Sherfield running a route over the middle. Okay, this is what the Dolphins do, right? Dolphins bread and butter. Tua takes the snap. Tua is going to look, and right here, there is an opening to make this throw. It's wide open. This is the throw that Tua should make. Tua's very good at this stuff, but this is an easy one. Tua, to his credit, makes a perfect throw where, his receiver can make the grab and continue running after the catch, but then his receiver makes the grab and runs all the way for a touchdown. There's obviously an element of his teammates helping him out, but hey, that's football, right? Having good teammates helps you, and if you can consistently put the ball in an area where your talented players can make the grab and continue running after the catch, you're playing football well. Like, that is, that is part of quarterbacking, is that stuff, but obviously there's an element of luck there. So sure, that's fine. But again, I didn't think that when things went poorly, it was entirely on Tua. And let's start off with the interceptions, actually. First, this one, which is just, this is, I don't know. I don't see how you blame him. He throws it to a running back who falls down and it gets intercepted. This is why I don't love looking at interceptions in general, is because this kind of stuff can, I do feel like people really pay attention to looking at interceptions. I've always been much more of a fan of saying, hey, let's look at turnover-worthy plays instead. That's much more accurate. It gives us a much more real representation of quarterbacks that put the ball in harm's way or not. It also factors in fumbles that are the quarterback's fault into that equation. It's weird how we count interceptions but not fumbles. But if you lose a fumble, it's the exact same thing. This is one where it was an interception, but obviously would not have been a turnover-worthy play, so that I don't really hold it against him. The other one I think is fair to hold against him, although it was a weird play. So the way this play is designed is, you see how you have a receiver who's going to try and get into a gap in coverage. Tua is going to eventually roll out towards the bottom of the screen, which I do have to say, I'm not a fan of getting Tua moving. Like, he's not as good off balance. He's just not. Watch, Tua takes a snap. You do see right here, okay, good, clever play design to get someone open, but I do think that for Tua, like, just plant your feet and make the throw. When his feet are planted, he almost never misses throws, but when you get him moving, he's just not as good. Although I do have to say, typically when he's moving towards his left, it's not as big of an issue as when he's moving towards his right, because he is a left-handed quarterback, but still, you see, this is the throw that has to be made. And I think there might actually be a miscommunication thing here, more so than a missed throw. I actually think that's the bigger thing, because it looks like Tua is expecting his receiver to stop, whereas his receiver is going to go closer down. Like, watch. It kind of feels like that's what happened. His receiver kind of cut in and closer down immediately, which, resulted in a high throw and an interception. Possible was a slightly missed throw on top of it. So, a couple of mistakes compounded together is what creates that issue. But again, these are not terrible plays by Tua. Okay, he missed the throw, fine. Guys miss throws. It's football. It happens. Like, bad tip that resulted in an interception and a receiver falling. I don't really hold those against him. I don't. But heading over here, I think, is the real heart of the issue with Tua and with the game that Tua had and with the game the Dolphins had, is this is just the struggle that they got put into, where it's a concept designed to beat zone coverage. Really, the Dolphins have picked apart zone coverage all season long, and it was a lot because of stuff like this, because of, they see zone coverage, you have a receiver who's going to try to get into the gap in coverage, they can just kind of just run these zone busters, they're very good at it. However, this time, when Tua takes the snap, you're going to see Nick Bosa gets through very quickly. This is an immediate pressure. It was actually a bad chip where the tight end went to chip Bosa, but ended up pushing him almost where no blockers were, so it almost worked towards Bosa's favor, so not the best chip there. And now Tua's in a tough spot, where the play's taking a little bit longer to develop than you would like. There's quick pressure, and, if you can get this quick pressure when you play zone, that's really how you can thrive, because nothing gets open in zone immediately. It takes a little bit longer for stuff to develop, but you hope that after a couple seconds, guys get really open, and that's why good pass rush teams, they tend to play zone. That's why the 49ers, when they went to the Super Bowl, they played a lot of zone, and it works a lot better in that scenario than if you're a man team. For Tua, he has a decision to make, and he has to make this decision now as opposed to a little bit later where he would ideally like to. Do you make the throw now or do you not? And realistically, he probably shouldn't. However, Tua does, and that could have been dangerous. Fred Warner knocked the ball away, but it was a lot of stuff like that where pressure's getting there quickly and guys aren't getting open quickly enough. That's a bad combination, right? If pressure's getting there quickly, you're fine. If guys are getting open quickly, then you're okay. And, if guys aren't getting open quickly, but no pressure is getting there, well, then you're fine as well. But you need at least one of those, and it just wasn't happening in this game. Again, going over here, I don't want to absolve Tua of all blame. There were some issues with Tua. This was not Tua's best game. That's obviously true. It's zone coverage play. You have little zone buster on the outside. Tua is going to take the snap on this one. He is going to look in that direction. He fires in that direction. I do have to say, didn't seemingly get his entire body into that throw. Seemed like he hurried it a little bit because maybe he's a little bit gun shy with the pressure getting there quickly. He had room to make a throw without getting hit. He should have done that, but didn't. And I think that's going to be the issue because you see Dolphin player wide open. Tua does miss this throw, so okay, not ideal, not what you want. I know Dolphins fans probably won't like this next statement I'm about to say, but Tua is not the best when he is under pressure. He's much better when he's not under pressure. Every quarterback, that's true, but Tua, it's more true than other quarterbacks. Again, I'm not harping on the negatives. Tua's been awesome this year. I'm not trying to say that he hasn't been. I'm just saying that every quarterback has their weaknesses. That is Tua's weakness, and it felt like in this game we kind of saw that a bit, which is, again, if the plan to beat Tua is to have a great pass rush, okay, yeah. A lot of quarterbacks struggle under a great pass rush. That's the whole people always said the way you beat Brady is getting pressure before. It's well, yeah, you beat, every quarterback struggles in that scenario. One last play, this one, it's going to be a zone coverage play. And again, you see the route over the middle. That's the one that Tua wants to look towards. Right when this play begins, what you're going to see is that, so it's going to be the gap I have further down the field. That's where Tua is actually going to throw the ball to. He could have done it earlier, decided not to. I'm not sure exactly why, but that's fine. He on this play does have enough time to do whatever he wants, so if he wants to wait for that gap for whatever reason, maybe he knows something I don't, maybe he saw something in film I didn't, that's why he's doing it, whatever, not a big deal. That's what he wants to do to hit Waddle, and as you see this throw, it's going to be a bit off, and it just falls incomplete. So again, there were some issues with Tua. I'm not trying to sit here and say Tua was not, Tua was a problem in this game, but Tua was not the problem in the game is what I feel like is the case. And again, Tua has been the solution for most of this season. Tua has played very well. Again, I did not think Tua was a bad player in this one. I think Tua made some bad plays. I think it's fair to say that, but I also think that it was a tough situation. 49ers defense plays very well. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. And, for all the people that say, well, Tua's only good when your, receivers are getting open, that's the case of every quarterback. And when the receivers aren't getting open, yeah, it made the offense look worse. But also, I didn't think it was as bad as maybe the box score would indicate and maybe the reaction would indicate. But that's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.